Hello, mini makers. Today we're going to be making a crystal shrine, or a shrine inspired kind of by Final Fantasy. We're going to try to do this exact same one here, um, kind of to serve as some type of centerpiece for your tabletop RPG, or it could be an objective marker for war games. But anyway, let me just get a size reference here. Just go with, I find my, okay. So this is my character. Let me just pull this up, make this view bigger. And I probably want to make it 75 millimeters. But I want people to be able to fight on it. So like that. Move my person over a little bit. So something like that. And then we can I want it to be 75 millimeters at the top. So the bottom is probably gonna have to be scaled out quite a bit. Maybe 100 millimeters. 150. And then what I'm going to do is set it at 150. 50. Okay, so it's twice as tall as it is. Let me just go ahead and bring this down a little bit. So it's not as, maybe 60. Okay. So now we have our base. Pretty easy to make a base like that. We can go ahead and just put one up here. Probably gonna have to make this even so it doesn't bend it. There we go. And then we can have one person here. One person here. And then the crystal in the middle. So let me get a base just so I can see what 32 millimeters kind of would look like on here. Like that. Okay, move this down like that. And move this over. We get a good, see how many combatants can be on here. Okay, I think that works. And then we can have the stone pillar part in the middle here. Gonna confirm the scale here. Okay, that would make the crystal. I'm gonna go ahead and make this slightly bigger, maybe to 175. Oh, nope. That's probably too big. So let's make it 160. 160. Okay, so now that we can make that platform a little bit bigger. Okay, and we'll do that. We can select all the edge loops here, and then we can just scale in everything but the Z dimension. hitting S and then Shift Z. That. And then we can go ahead and add the little lip around the whole thing that we see down here. So we're just gonna add an edge loop, and then we're gonna hit Alt left click and then extrude upwards like that. We could do is we could add another edge loop here and then make it so that these are we could just move that up here. So add an edge loop, and then we can bevel it, and that's how it becomes, you can bevel it so it's straight at about the opening of the crystal shrine right there. Delete these faces. And let's see if not wide enough for a person to get in. It is. We can then just close these faces off here. So we just click on the vertices and hit F to fill them. And we can just click on an edge and then F to fill those. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna make these a bit bigger. That may have to cut it in half. This is gonna be a set piece or a larger platform. Then we're gonna cut in the stairs. I think should be the next step. And to do that, we can add some edge loops. And then we can click on these. And I think we can just extrude them inwards. We can. We're just going to take these two, extrude them in the Y. And then we're going to do the same with this. That's how you would make the stairs. You can just exclude this one out. Y as well. I think what we're going to do is add slightly more stairs. So add another edge loop here. Gonna exclude the first one out slightly. The Y. We're gonna take the others and exclude them in. The Y. That. This one do the same thing. The Y. Do the same thing with this last one. And then you can go ahead and make these the same. You can go ahead and make these the same distance. And then for the top, No, we had exclude a couple times too many, so and delete this face, add another face, and then move it. What's going on? Just delete this. Yeah, so we had a double face. We had double vertices going on there. Something like that. And then we can go ahead and delete these faces up top. And this last face down here. Also this face here. Okay, so I'm just going to select this and this. And then I'm going to select this top one. Then I'm just going to shrink this slightly. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and you can delete these faces as well. Dissolve these edges. Okay. Now I'm going to fill these by clicking vertices, filling them in. Now I'm just going to add subdivide these two. Subdivide this one as well. Over here. So this one. I guess I only needed the one. Solve this one. I'm just gonna fill this face in here. And I can just fill this face. Then I can just fill this face here. Then I'm gonna cut this in half and then I'm gonna mirror it. Something like that. Another step, but inside there's some weird base stuff going on. I'm just gonna delete those. Delete these faces, and then just make the new one here. When you're doing these exclusion stuff, you gotta really watch out for interior faces, because they will make your print unprintable, and then you'll get errors, and that's how you get errors. Okay. So let me just add some color here. Just go with we'll make it the color of the find one that isn't purple. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so these can still fit pretty easily. Something like that. Or just move over here. Okay. This is your very basic Schlein. Okay, so now we can go ahead and add the crystal. So we can do that there's a couple ways to make crystals. And there's a couple different types of crystals. So this is the one in this picture, which I'm gonna guess is a cylinder. Here we go, cylinder. Normally they start at 32. Something like that. What you can do is you can add a cylinder. Set it to, let's say, it looks like 6. Call it 6. Scale it. Rotate it in the by 30. Yep. And then we can take the top face here and the bottom face there. And then we can do poke faces. And then we can just scale them in the Z like that. And now you have your crystal. We'll just make that something like that. And then you can have a little, that's your crystal. As an objective marker, and then so it doesn't fall over, you can either make a divot in the middle here by pushing it in a little bit and then differencing. So going to Boolean difference, make it Boolean difference. And now it has like a little spot for it to go inside of. So it doesn't fall over easily. Or you can give it a little platform by just making another cylinder, going in like this. Make that closer to 32. And we can just scale this like that. Then we extrude inwards. And then you can difference the little platform thing. And then you have a stand for your crystal. So it's less likely to fall over. Okay. That's one crystal type you can make. Add another light. Okay, so that's one type of crystal you can make. Another type of crystal you can make is the one where it kind of looks like it's coming at you. So I'll make another cylinder, make it 6 vertices again. And then we flip it in the X dimension by hitting R and then X to rotate it. Make it a little bit thinner. And scale this a little bit more. Probably make it a little bit in the Y like this. So then we can inset the front face. We can either hit GY to move it, mirror this across the x-axis, and then we can take this edge loop and then move it in the Y dimension. And then we just do something like this. This is another type of crystal you can make. That's another type of crystal you can make, not too difficult there. And if you want to make another type of crystal, you can delete these. You can always go ahead and add a UV sphere. And then you can kind of elongate it like this in the Z dimension by sizing with S and Z. And then you can add a decimate modifier. And then just keep moving the ratio down until it starts becoming more crystally. And then you can make it a lot thinner. So something there maybe. We can maybe rotate it a little bit, find a good angle. And then we can apply it. And then you can grab the individual vertices, move them around to make a shape that you like better. This is fine, I think. Then we maybe move this one in. Like that. You don't want it to look too perfect. You want it to still look kind of janky. That's another crystal type you can have. And then you can also do the same thing where you grab the UV sphere. And then you can get the UV sphere here. And then you can go ahead and shape it however you want by going to edit mode, turning on proportional editing. Maybe you want something like this. And then you can scale in this. Then you can add a decimate modifier on that. like that, and then you can scale it there, to the bottom a little bit. So this is also a crystal type you can go with. Like that. Then we just change some of these colors out. There's our blue, we have our green. Make this that blue color. And then just a different, this is, oh, and then a very blue one. Or like a purple-ish one. So these are our crystals in our crystal shrine. Pretty easy. You can do it fairly quickly. Serve as a nice little centerpiece for your battles or whatnot. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Anybody who watched it, anybody who watched this, and hopefully gave you some ideas, or you just enjoyed watching how it was done.